What happened? A woman came in to report that she'd been raped. She wanted to make an official denuncia. He paused, letting memory return. It was her husband. Paola's pause was equally long. Then she asked, "And?" The questioning was done by the Commissario I was assigned to at the time. "And?" He told her to think about what she was doing, that it would cause her husband a great deal of trouble. This time Paola's silence was enough to spur him on. After she'd listened to him, she said she needed time to think about it, and she left. He could still remember the set of the woman's shoulders as she left the office where the questioning had taken place. She never came back. Paola sighed, then asked, "Have things changed much since then?" "A bit." "Are they any better?" "Minimally. At least we try to have female officers do the first interview." "Try?" "If there are any on duty when it happens, when they come in." "And if there aren't?" "We call around and see if a woman can come on duty." "And if not?" He wondered how breakfast had somehow become an inquisition. "If not, then they're interviewed by whoever's available." "That means, I suppose, that men like Alvise or Lieutenant Scarpa could do the questioning." She made no attempt to disguise her disgust. "It's not really questioning, Paola, not like when we have a suspect." She pointed at the Gazzettino, her fingernail tapping out a quick triple beat on the second headline. "In a city where this is possible, I hate to think of what any sort of questioning is like." He was just at the point of opposition when she, perhaps sensing this, changed her tone entirely and asked, "How's your day look? Will you be home for lunch?" Relieved, aware that he was tempting fate but helpless to stop himself, he answered, "I think so. Crime seems to be on holiday in Venice." "God, I wish I could say the same about my students," she said with tired resignation. "Paola, you've only been back at work 6 days," he couldn't prevent himself from saying. He wondered how she had managed to monopolize the right to complain about work. After all, he had to deal, if not on a daily basis, then at least with upsetting frequency with murder, rape, and battery. While the worst thing that could happen in her classroom was that someone would ask the identity of the Dark Lady or forget what happened at the end of Washington Square. He was about to say something to this effect when he caught the expression in her eyes. "What's the matter?" he asked. "Huh?" He knew evasion when he heard it, saw it. "I asked you what was the matter." "Oh, difficult students, the usual stuff." Again he recognized the signs that she was reluctant to discuss something. He pushed back his chair and got to his feet. He came to her side of the table, braced his hand on her shoulder, and bent to kiss the top of her head. "I'll see you at lunch." "I'll live in that single hope," she answered, and leaned forward to sweep up the spilled sugar. Left alone at the table, Paola was faced with the decision of whether to finish reading the paper or to wash the dishes. She chose the dishes. That task finished, she glanced at her watch and saw that her only class of the day began in less than an hour, and so she went back to the bedroom to finish dressing. Her mind absorbed, as was often the case, with the writing of Henry James, though in this case it was only to the extent that he might have influenced Edith Wharton, whose novels were to be the subject of her lecture. She had been lecturing recently on the theme of honour and honourable behaviour and the way it was central to Wharton's 3 great novels. But she was preoccupied with whether the concept still had the same meaning for her students. Indeed, whether it had any meaning for her students. She had wanted to talk about this with Guido that morning, for she respected his opinions on the subject, but the headline had diverted her. After decades, she could no longer feign not to notice his usual response to her coffee sermons, that quickened desire to leave the table. She smiled to herself at the term he'd invented, and at the affection with which he generally used it. She knew she responded too quickly and too strongly to many stimuli.